Hey, fourth grade, this is your video for the week. So we're going to start with Monday. We're going to be doing some review for your open book test tomorrow on Tuesday. So we're going to be on page 142 to 143. I'm going to put right here what your numbers are going to be. You're going to do 1, 2, 4 through 6, 20 through 24, and 25. So I'm going to kind of separate that and let's look at those together. So get on page 142 with me. And what we're going to do is review for today. No homework, just a study, no written homework. And then we'll have your open book test tomorrow on Tuesday. And on Wednesday, we'll start our next chapter, chapter 8. Chapter 7 was real short and it was real easy. So I just wanted to get through with it and move on. So on page 142, let's look at number 1 together. It says, which equation best shows the division rule? When the dividend is 0, the quotient is 0. So if the quotient is 0, that eliminates C automatically. So you need to remember that we have dividend divided by divisor equals quotient. If our quotient is 0 and our dividend is 0, then go through those options and figure out for number 1 what the best answer would be. There's multiple choice. Number 2, related fact of 6 times 8 equals 48. So related facts could be like this. If I have 3 times 5 equals 15, a related fact would be 15 divided by 5 equals 3, or 15 divided by 3 equals 5. So related facts are just those fact families. That's number 2. Number 4, it says the quotient of a division problem is 6 and the divisor is 1. What is the dividend? So you're going to do the same thing we just looked at right here. If we know that our quotient is 6 and the divisor is 1, then we need to figure out that number right there, okay? Number 5, write a division equation to represent the array. So on number 5, they give you a bunch of stars. First, you're going to need to figure out the total number of stars, and then you're going to see how many rows they have versus how many columns. Number 6, write a related multiplication fact for 36 divided by 9 equals 4. So you're going to switch that around to a multiplication fact. Then let's go on to number 20. I'm going to erase this right here. Remember, you can always go back and look at it after I've erased it. All right, so let's look at number 20. Number 20 says write 4 related facts for each set of numbers. So let's do number 20 together. They give us 8, 24, and 3. So that I know that my multiplication facts are going to be 8 times 3 equals 24, and 3 times 8 equals 24. So my division facts are going to have to be 25 divided by 8 equals 3. 24 divided by 3 equals 8. So those are all of my fact families and my related facts for those 3 numbers. So you're going to do that on 20, 21, and 22. And then let's look at 23 and 24. Let's do 23 together. 23 is an input-output table. So our input, output. Input gives us 6, 12, 18, 24, and 30. And the rule is divide by 3. So I'm going to take my input, 6 divided by 3, and I get 2. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 18 divided by 3 is 6. And then you keep going, okay? So that's going to be what you do for 23 and 24. You don't have to write the whole chart out, just write your numbers. Then you're going to do 25. It says there are 72 students taking a trip to the zoo. The students are split into 3 equal groups for the bus ride to the zoo. How many students are in each group? So if we have 72 students into 3 groups, what you would do is make little groups. And I believe we did this in class right before we went virtual. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. There's a group. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I'm going to keep counting all the way to 72. Then I'm going to count how many circles I have as my answer. Okay, so that's how you're going to do that one. That's going to be what you do for today. There is no homework tonight except to study. And then tomorrow you'll have your open book quiz, okay, or test. So this is all for Monday. Let me know if you have any questions. All right, our Tuesday video. Today you're going to do your open book test. You can use your book. You can use your notes. You can use your classwork. You can use this video. Whatever you need to use, you can use for this one, okay? So go ahead and start working on your open book test. It's going to be super simple. Use everything we've done already, okay? That's all for Tuesday. Pretty simple. All right, Wednesday video. Today we're going to start something new. We're going to be on page 149. 149. Well, it starts on 148 and then it goes on. We're going to actually be starting longer division today. So this is called one-digit quotient. So look at page 148 with me. Samuel has 25 balloons. He ties the balloons into groups with 3 balloons in each group. How many groups of balloons does Samuel have? How many balloons are left over? To find how many groups, divide 25 divided by 3. We're not going to estimate. We're just going to do the division. So these are your rules with division. First, we divide, then we multiply, then subtract, and then write the remainder. We will have bigger numbers than this. This is just our beginning. And then we're going to go into bigger ones as soon as we master this. So the problem is 25 divided by 3. So I write that with 25 in the house divided by 3 on the outside. Okay, so the first thing we need to know is how to write it. That's how you would write it. The bigger number, remember, always goes inside the house. So then we divide it. And what that means is we need to see how many times 3 goes into 25. So what we do is we think of a multiplication fact that gets us close to 25. So for example, 3 times 3 is 9. That doesn't get me close to 25. But I know that 3 times 8 is 24. So 3 can go into 25 8 times. 3 times 9 is 27. That's too big. So that won't work. I can't have a higher number than what's in my house. So I divided, then I multiply. You multiply these two numbers right here. So I say 3 times 8 is 24, and I'm going to write it right there. Then I'm going to subtract those two numbers, and I get 1. And that number is my remainder. So I write remainder 1. Okay, if you wanted to check that, we would do 3 times 8 plus 1. So 3 times 8 is 24 plus 1 equals 25. And that's the answer we have here, so it's correct. Okay, so that's how you would check it. Okay, so I'm going to erase this part and let's do another. Remember, if this is too fast for you, all you do is pause it and rewind it and go back and watch it again, okay? Beauty of a video. Okay, let's do one like 24 divided by 4. So I'm going to think, how many times does 4 go into 24? So in my head, I'm going to think what multiplication fact gets me close to 24? Or it could be 24. 4 times 1 is 4, that's too little. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16, still not high enough. 4 times 5 is 20, or 4 times 6 is 24. So that works. So I'm going to write my 6 right above that 4. I don't write it over the 2 because that would mean that 4 goes into 2 6 times, and it can't. 4 goes into 24 6 times. So then I'm going to multiply these two numbers. 4 times 6 is 24, and I'm going to write it right there. Then I'm going to subtract those two numbers, and I get 0. There's no remainder, so I don't need to write R0. I just have a final answer of 6. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do 20 divided by 3. So I'm going to think of a multiplication fact, something times 3 or 3 times something, and it gets me close to 20. I know that 3 times 6 is 18, that's close to 20. 3 times 7 is 21, that's too big. So I need to put my 6 right here. So that tells me that 3 goes into 20 6 times. Then I'm going to multiply those two numbers. 3 times 6 is 18. Then I'm going to subtract them, and I'm going to get 2. And I'm going to write my remainder up here. Remember to write your remainder at the top. So my answer is 6 remainder 2. Okay, let's do one more, and then I'm going to let you try some on your own. Remember, this is new. I'm not going to grade you on this today. I'm just going to check it. I'm not going to expect you to fully know this on the first day. Let's do 48 divided by 5. So I'm going to count by 5. So let's do that. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So 45 is as close as I can get. And I know that 5 times 9 is 45. So 5 goes into 48 9 times. I'm going to multiply those two. 5 times 9 is 45. When I subtract that, I get 3. I'm going to write that up here. Remainder 3. Okay? So that's how you do those. And remember to check, I could do 9 times 5 equals 45 plus the 3 remainder is 48. That answer is the same as that answer, so it works. Okay? So you're going to try some of these today. You're going to do page 149, numbers 4 through 12. And then for homework, you're going to do workbook, page 105. Okay, so that's what you're going to work on today, and then I'm going to see you here for Thursday's video. All right, Thursday video, we're going to do a little bit more of what we did with the work yesterday, 1-digit quotients. So let's practice them. Let's do 60 divided by 8. So I'm going to think 8 times what gives me 60? Well, 8 times 5 is 40. That's too low. 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 7 is 56. 8 times 8 is 64. So that won't work. So we have to go with 7. 8 times 7 is 56. Remember, you multiply those two numbers. Then I get 60 minus 56, and I get 4. I'm going to write it right here. 7, remainder 4. Okay, so that's all you do for that one. Let's do 45 divided by 6. Remember, our steps are divide, multiply, subtract, remainder. So I'm going to divide. 6 times what gives me something close to 45. 6 times 7 is 42. 6 times 8 is 48. 48 is too high. So we're going to say that 6 goes into 45 7 times. And it goes over the 5, not the 4. Then I'm going to multiply those two numbers. 6 times 7 is 42. I'm going to subtract that and get 3. So our answer is 7, remainder 3. Okay, let's do one more. Let's do 26 divided by 4. So 4 times 4 is 16, 4 times 5 is 20, 4 times 6 is 24, 4 times 7 is 28. So the closest I'm going to get is 4 times 6 is 24. So 4 goes into 26 6 times. When I multiply that, I get 24. When I subtract that, I get 2. So my answer is 6, remainder 2. All right. So today you're going to do a worksheet, and then your homework is workbook page 106. And I'll see you here Friday. We're going to start something different on Friday. So let me know if you have any questions. All right, Friday's video. Today we're going to do divisibility rules, and they're super duper important. So I'm going to label this divisibility rules. You're going to do them again next year in 5th grade, so you need to understand them now so that you can do them again next year. So look at the top of page 150 with me. It says Kaylee has 24 flower plants for her garden. She wants to put the flower plants in rows. She wants the same number of flower plants in each row. Kaylee is thinking of planting 2 rows, 3 rows, 5 rows, or 10 rows. Which numbers of rows can Kaylee plant? To find out if you can evenly divide 24 by 2, 3, 5, or 10, you can use divisibility rules. A number is divisible by another number when the quotient has no remainder. The chart below shows the divisibility rules for 2, 3, 5, and 10. So the rules you have to memorize. You can't do them any other way except to memorize it. So let's look at the rules. So the first rule is a number is divisible by 2. And I'm going to give you a different wording on this because it's easier to understand. A number is divisible by 2 if the ones digit is even. So for example, if I gave you the number 10, the ones digit right here, 0, is even, so that number is divisible by 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. If you can divide the number and not get a remainder, then it works. If I gave you 16, 6 is in the ones position and it is even, so it can be divisible by 2. If I gave you 17, 7 is in the ones place. 7 is not an even number, so it cannot be divisible by 2. Okay, I'm going to erase. Well, maybe I can put it in. We'll see if I can fit the second one. A number is divisible by 5 if its ones digit is 0 or 5. So for example, if I gave you 10, the ones digit is a 0 or a 5, so it works. 20, the ones digit is a 0, so it works. 35, the ones digit is a 5, so yes, it can be divided by 5. If I gave you 18, oh man, let's go back. I can't go back, sorry. But if the ones digit is an 8, this is not, yeah, this is Friday. If the ones digit is divisible by, is 8, is not divisible by 5 because it doesn't end in a 0 or a 5. Okay, let's do rule 3. A number is divisible by 10 if its ones digit is 0. So for example, if I had 20, the ones digit is 0, so it can be divided by 10. If I have 130, the 0's in the ones digit, so it can be divided by 10. If I had 250, 0 right here in the ones digit, so it can work. If I have 182, that ones digit is not 0, so that's not going to work. And then our final rule is a number is divisible by 3 if the sum of its digits is divisible by 3. So this one's a little bit different. For this one, you have to take a number and add up all the numbers in it to see if it's divisible by 3. So they give us 42 as an example. What I do is I do 4 plus 2. I take 42 and I do 4 plus 2 equals 6. 6 can be divided by 3 because 6 divided by 3 equals 2. So then 42 can be divided by 3. So all we're doing is looking at an easier way to see if these numbers can be divided by 2, 5, 10, or 3. Then they give us 576. I would do 5 plus 7 plus 6 equals 18. And 18 divided by 3 is 6. So that works. So you're going to add up the numbers in the number they give you, like 576. If it equals a number that can be divided by 3, then that whole number can be divided by 3. So because I did 5 plus 7 plus 6 equals 18, and I know that I can divide 18 by 3, then I know I can divide 576 by 3. Okay? So what you're going to do today is 1 through 19. So let's do some of these together. I'm going to clear this page. Let's do number 1 together. It says 28 is divisible by 2 because the blank digit is divisible by 2. Okay, so if we have 28, this digit right here is the one we're looking at. That's the ones digit. So that would be your answer. Then let's skip on over because you're going to do page 150 to 151, 1 through 19. So numbers 1, 2, and 3 is kind of like number 1. Then it goes to some different sections. So let's do number 4 together. It says, is the number divisible by 2, right? Yes or no. So they give us the number 36 on number 4. We want to know if 36 is divisible by 2. So let's look at the ones digit. If the ones digit is even, then I can say, yes, it's divisible by 2. You don't have to write any numbers. You don't have to divide. You just have to write yes or no. Let's look at number 8. The directions for 8 say, is the number divisible by 5, right? Yes or no. So the number they give me is 86. If a number is divisible by 5, then the ones digit has to be 0 or 5. This one is not, so I have to write no. Number 12, let's do that one. It says, is the number divisible by 10, right? Yes or no. They give me 93. If a number is divisible by 10, then this 3 would have to be a 0. If a number is divisible by 10, the ones digit is 0. So I have to put a big no. And then 16, is the number divisible by 3, right? Yes or no. So they give me 69. To figure out if I can divide 69 by 3, I need to do 6 plus 9, which equals 15. I can do 15 divided by 3, so 69 can be divided by 3. I put yes. So for numbers 1, 2, and 3, you're going to put the digits, and then for numbers 4 through 19, you're just going to write yes or no. Refer back to your rules for these, okay? That's it for this week. Let me know if you have any questions. No homework tonight because it is Friday. Have a great weekend.